Hey, today I want to share my experience applying DRY principle during my career. DRY stands for don't repeat yourself, and so the DRY principle is about not repeating parts of the logic and also data in your software systems. And many developers are well aware of that principle. They know that, okay, we can move this common part somewhere like a function or a method, or if we are talking about the data actually is more overlooked. Some developers only apply the dry principle on code, but it also applies to data as well. So you should not be duplicating the same data in different entities. You should probably extract it to another entity, like if you're talking about the database design, then make a relation to that exact cases that differ from the common case. So dry principle, in short, it applies on both on the code base and the data. And yet many developers, knowing that there is dry principle and its benefits, they still do not use it as much as it should be used, I would say, because I'm exposed to different code bases, and in many cases, I see copy pasting. And this is actually bringing issues in the long run, because one of the issues that I often see when there is a copy and paste code base, uh, that when you want to make a change in a feature, or you fix a bug, there are multiple copies, or multiple slightly different copies, and it's another issue though. So whereas, and I will get back to it just later in the video. Uh, so you just fix it in one place, or you fix it in some places, but not in all places. And then after a while, the same bug appears again, or the feature is not fully implemented because you forgot to implement it somewhere. Well, it's partially solved now with AI development, because AI is more attentive to details, I would say, but still there is an issue. This issue still exists because you can't 100% rely on AI, and it may overlook it too, especially when your code base is large and the context window is not enough to kind of properly hold all the places where you need to take a look at. Um, Another issue that happens often, so first of all, you make this copy and paste instead of extracting common parts and putting it to a function, and then they look alike, and that's great. And you think, okay, you say I saved time because I didn't work on generalizing things, and I shipped earlier. But later, especially when you work in teams, uh, some feature was required for one of the copies of this copy and paste work. Basically, it means that, like, a business team asked to make a change in just one place because they didn't care about the other place. Well, it would be good to have it there as well, but they didn't explicitly request it. And therefore, the other developer, maybe who wasn't originally working on that copy and paste non-dry implementation, they just find one place, and they in a rush to ship, and they just change that place. And what happens, these copies, they diverge with time, and they are no longer this similar or compatible. But in the mind of everyone, the features are similar, and at some point you want to make a common change to every place where you have copied this implementation. And you think, oh, it's easy, let's do that. And when you start doing that, you realize that these diverged copies, they are slightly different, and it's not easy to apply this change to all of the copies. And then it may become very expensive change, because first of all, you still need to unify all those copies and actually to make them dry. But it can be an issue because so each of these copies may start having dependencies, and these dependencies already depend on this slightly modified version of this code. So basically, small change that imagined as a small change become a very expensive change because the dry principle was not followed. So the other issues that arise when you don't follow dry principle, this is more code to maintain, and this means that there is more code to read, there is more code to test, and also there is more code to modify. And also you have to have more tests, because you have to test every single copy. Of course, it depends how you implement your tests. Basically, if you have these unit tests and integration tests, then you certainly benefit doing unit testing if you go dry, because you can just test the function in isolation just once, and in the integration test you just do one success scenario and that's it. So I do strongly recommend, and I do use dry principle all the time. And also I want to touch a little bit another principle. This is a rule of three, which I used to follow before. Like, if you have something repeating just 2 times, you shouldn't make them dry. It's okay to keep things non-dry, but if it repeats 3 times, then you extract the common part. So I don't think that a rule of 3 should be applied, and we should make things dry even if you have 2 copies. This is because of what I mentioned before. These copies can diverge, and when they diverge, even if there are just 2 copies, then it will be hard to apply the same change to both of them. So even if you repeat things just twice, still do them dry, extract the common part. Oh, and the other benefit that you often get if you make it dry is it's easy to see all the usages of a certain of the certain functionality of the certain piece of code. So you click the mouse to show the usages in your IDE, and then you see all of them. And then like it's a more navigatable code, and it's easier to understand, easier to read. So I think dry principle is totally worth to follow, and I personally do follow it. And actually with AI right now, it's much easier to do the refactoring. You can actually tell AI to extract common parts and then use it. And also, like, if it's less code, it's also easier for AI to manage it, and for humans, of course. Even with AI, you still need to understand the code, and extracting common parts, actually it gives more than just having less code and not having those issues that I mentioned earlier. This also gives you a better understanding of what you are doing, and what abstractions you have, what similarities, what generalizes. This is also plays a lot in consistency. So when you have things generalized, they are usually more consistent because you don't depend on particular cases. uh, you understand how everything is logically fit each other. So especially with in AI world and with AI, you can now spend more time making code better because you don't have to actually type the code, and you can use that time to improve the code base and definitely follow the dry principle.